9:30.
Well, it has got to be the biggest decision in the life of an elite sportsman or woman. Just how tough is it to retire when you have devoted so many hours to training? An ill-timed retirement can leave your mind filled with doubt. Well, one man who has recently experienced that is former Socceroo captain Paul Wade. He's a veteran of more than 100 appearances for his country, and he went in search of answers from some of our former greats.
Zelic, the header by Wade, yes, Australia 1-0!
An historic moment in Australian sport is David Campese, 101 test matches.
When the cheering fades and the glory and accolades disappear, an athlete's life changes beyond comprehension.
It's not just the involvement, it's everything that goes with it. It's the ego, it's the networking, it's the mates, it's the smell of the liniment, it's everything. And to suddenly chop that off and walk away is an extremely difficult thing to do.
From where most people sit, this must be hard to understand. After all, most only get to dream of going to the Olympics, playing in front of 70,000 people, and in some cases, getting paid very handsomely for it. But this is a real issue, and it has torn apart some of our toughest sportsmen and women. Raylene Boyle was the golden girl of Australian athletics, a sprinter who ended her career with victory at the Commonwealth Games.
Raylene Boyle's got the gold medal, her 7th Commonwealth Games gold medal.
But the elation was short-lived.
I mean, I had the perfect springboard for retirement. I had a Commonwealth Games, which I was pretty sure I could win. And we had it in Brisbane, in my home country. I mean, not many people get that sort of nucleus to retire from. And I was given the honour of carrying the Queen's message into the stadium and all sorts of lovely things. And of course I went on to win, and it was just the perfect place to walk away and say, thank you very much, I've had a wonderful time, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Afterwards I'd committed to my coach that I would do 2 years of hard work on the public speaking circuit to try and cash up a bit. And to tell my story. People wanted to hear it. And I did that, and then I really felt lost, and I almost felt useless and not worthy of anything. So I came up here, I came up to the Sunshine Coast and virtually became a recluse for 2.5 years and did nothing. I mean, I had no direction, I had no feeling of inspiration. I really just didn't want to do anything, and I didn't feel capable of doing anything. I'd lost all my confidence.
Raylene overcame the grief of retirement, but it took a painful period of realisation. She is far from alone, though. John Seaban's gold medal in Los Angeles still ranks as one of the most incredible of the modern games. It took unbelievable courage, determination and will, attributes which should transfer to the workplace.
Seaban's going to take it out. That's unbelievable. Yeah, under the world record. That is the world record. John Seaban, 17 years old.
It was just so hard to try and find an opportunity for me to get started. And that was the hardest part, was finding the opportunity to get started, because it's not easy. You know, you're 30, 27, 29, 30 years old when you're finishing your sport, and you've got to go out and find your first job.
I see retirement as being a life crisis, in the same way that various traumatic experiences through people's lives can lead to a crossroad, a life crisis. And it's one's response to that that can either make or break the situation.
For 4 years, Seaban tossed between retirement and swimming. The indecision left him unprepared when the day finally arrived.
To be fully committed and focused on one thing, and then all of a sudden it stops. It's not a gradual stop, like, you know, you gradually fade away. It stops, and then you've all of a sudden got to change your whole mental approach and attitude to your life.
For others, the transition has been quicker, but no less painful.
Oh, what a brilliant catch, Mark Waugh.
Grabbed my wife, we went for a cup of coffee down in a little coffee shop down in Coogee, and I said, well, you know, I think that's it. I just don't think I can go on. I'm starting to worry about children. Will I be able to play with the kids? What I'm going to be like when I'm 50 or 55 with arthritis and all this sort of stuff. And then I remember crying at the table because, you know, to do something, you know, I played international cricket for 11 years, first-class cricket, I think, for about 14 years for New South Wales. It's your life. I mean, it's everything that consumes you, and you're striving for perfection for so much time, and, you know, for me, it was bowling and getting everything right. And then all of a sudden you're saying to yourself this day, that's it. It's all finished.
Mike Whitney was the showman of Australian cricket, one of the most competitive ever to wear the baggy green cap. His personality made him perfect for a career in television. Now he finds himself a hero to a new group of fans, many unaware of his achievements on the field.
I think one of the important things that I did was I got onto the speaking circuit, the after-dinner speaking circuit, and networked with a lot of people there, and I'm still doing business with some of those people now, and it's a great thing to be able to get up and communicate, and of course television and all these other things have basically been spawned from that.
It is easy to learn from the mistakes of others, but retirement is a very personal experience, as rugby legend David Campese is about to find out.
Yeah, I suppose it's going to be very hard, but again, like, if I don't really watch that much rugby. It's when you've played as long as I have, and you've been around and you've had a lot of tours and that, like the Five Nations, I've got no interest. The Test match from the play, I'm not interested in. People probably think I'm selfish by doing that way, but I'm not. I mean, to me, there's other things in life to explore, and obviously I'm going to miss it. But again, like, I won't go and watch.
Campo has just retired from international rugby after a record 101 tests for Australia. He's had plenty of time to contemplate the end of his great career, but in this recent interview with Seven's Gordon Bray, you tend to think the reality is still to hit.
Life after rugby then?
I'll let you know. It's very hard. I mean, it's like if I say to you, Gordon, okay, well, you're going to retire as a commentator, what are you going to do next? And you go, well, I don't know. It's true. I mean, you don't know.
There is a saying in sport, you are a long time retired, and it's that nagging desire to go on which torments many athletes, like triple world boxing champion Jeff Fenech.
This is my last fight. I'm now officially retired. I was really upset because I'd always said if I ever retired it was going to be for good, and I'd retired, I'd announced it, and I didn't want to retire, so it was really hard. As soon as I announced it, I regretted it because I knew that I was at my best and I was really not ready for retirement. But I played footy for a little while, and then I did what most boxers do, and I made a comeback.
In fact, it took 2 comebacks for Fenech to realise the game was over.
I don't regret it. I don't think that I took any shortcuts. I'm not embarrassed by it. You know, if anything, I'm embarrassed that I continued to fight on a little too long, but again, it was an experience, and today I can sit down and talk about it, and maybe somebody will learn or pick a little message up there from what I've learned.
I can't think of an athlete in this country that's effectively made a comeback after announcing a proper retirement. I can't think, across all of the sports that I can think of, I'm not sure that I could come up with a name that's made what I would call a successful comeback.
But it's certainly not all doom and gloom for our elite athletes. Retirement is a part of sport, and the AIS and many other sporting bodies have established programs to help sportsmen and women deal with the afterlife. Well, Jeff, while I've got you, what advice can you give me as a sportsman just retired? Because I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell do I do with myself now after 11 years as a Socceroo?
In an ideal world, there would have been some preparation for retirement, in an ideal world. But let's assume there's not. Let's assume you've made a decision for whatever reason to retire and walk away from it. The thing that I'd want to do is try to put together, if you like, a personal profile. And I'd want to profile the skills that you developed over your years as a Socceroo, and there'd be plenty of those. And I'd be wanting to point out that those skills are just as applicable in the business world, wherever you wanted to head, as they are in sport. And sometimes I think people underestimate that, athletes underestimate that.
So I'm not a lost cause?
You're not a lost cause, and you're not on your own. You're not the first and you're not the last. There's heaps of people around who are going through similar processes, and there is light at the end of the tunnel.
See, there you have it. I told my wife Valerie that having me at home more often wouldn't be all that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be really noticeable until he's not playing soccer at all. Having given up the Socceroos hasn't changed anything yet because there hasn't been another tour.
Excuse me, the dishwashing liquid, where do we put it?
Just up there.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. That'll be the difference. He might actually do something.
Yeah, it's a shuddering thought, isn't it? Paul Wade reporting there on a very important issue, life after sport in retirement. As one of the floor crew just said, it's different for the golfers. They can go on the senior circuit and earn more money. We'll take a break and be back with more.